He stepped onto my porch, looked over at Karen's property line, aka my grass, and said, "So she brought Google Earth to a legal fight?" I nodded. Gray cracked his knuckles like this was personal. We spent the afternoon digging through my property documents, title deeds, old photographs, and even my dad's 2004 lawnmower receipts. We were going full forensic mode. Karen wanted a battle. We brought war. But Karen didn't stop. The next morning, I woke up to a loud bzzz noise outside. I thought someone was trimming hedges. Nope. Karen had hired a guy with a weed whacker to start clearing the area for her Zen garden. On my lawn. I ran outside in my slippers, waved my arms like a madman, and screamed, "Turn that off or I'm going to call the cops and a land surveyor." The poor guy paused, looked back at Karen and said, Ma'am, are you sure this is your property?" Karen yelled back, "I spiritually feel that it is." Greg, standing beside me with his coffee, whispered, "What is she, the avatar of suburban landscaping?" We stopped the guy again. But that's when things got weirder. Karen started hanging wind chimes in the trees on my side, then a hammock. Then, I kid you not, she moved a Buddha statue onto the lawn and lit incense like she was claiming sacred ground. I took a photo. Greg added it to Exhibit B, Backyard Buddha Invasion. Meanwhile, Karen had started telling the neighborhood Facebook group that I was unstable and possibly dangerous because I owned a leaf blower and wore Crocs. Crocs are comfortable. Don't judge. But while Karen was busy spreading suburban propaganda, Greg was building a case so good it could win an Emmy. He found the original plot maps, obtained an official surveyor, and even printed out satellite images that showed, year after year, my dog peeing on that exact patch of land, which we lovingly labeled as Fido's territory. And then she sent me a letter, in pink-scented paper, sprayed with perfume that smelled like disappointment. It read, "Dear neighbor, please understand that my Zen garden is a part of my healing journey. If you continue to resist, you're resisting the flow of the universe." I wrote back on a napkin, "Dear Karen, the only thing flowing is your nonsense. Kindly evacuate my lawn before I put a flamingo in your driveway and declare it a cultural landmark." Greg approved. Finally, we sent her a formal cease and desist letter. And then sweet karma arrived. Remember that gazebo construction crew? Turns out one of the workers filmed Karen shouting directions like she was queen of the backyard empire and posted it on TikTok. It went viral. The video was titled, "Crazy Lady Tries to Steal Land Using Google Maps." The comments? Legendary. "Bro, she's trying to gentrify a lawn. Tell her Mercury's in the wrong house. Imagine calling a chakra line a property line." Loudly crying face Karen was furious. She knocked on my door and yelled, "You're ruining my vibe." I said, "Your vibe started trespassing 3 weeks ago. Karen, this is eviction." By now, even her HOA stopped responding to her complaints. They may or may not have screenshotted the TikTok too. And so, we took it to court. Gray put on his best suit. I wore a shirt that said, "I mow, therefore I own." Karen wore a poncho and carried a crystal. I'm serious. She told the judge she had dreamt that the land was hers and that she was being spiritually bullied. The judge blinked twice and said, "We're going to look at the actual legal documents now." What happened next? Well, let's just say justice was mowed, trimmed, and perfectly edged. Karen didn't go quietly. Even after the court ruling, she acted like she had just been betrayed by the universe itself. She stood outside the courthouse, dramatically holding a crystal to her forehead, whispering something about Saturn's vengeance and cosmic injustice. A teenager passed by and asked if she was doing a TikTok skit. Nope. That was just Karen being Karen. Later that evening, I was relaxing on my freshly vindicated lawn, drinking a cold soda, when I heard the sound of duct tape. I looked over the fence and saw Karen attempting to stick a new sign to her side of the fence. It read, "Energetic victory. The real battle is spiritual." Greg, who was over-celebrating with a barbecue plate in hand, peeked over and said, "Wow, she's out here losing in court and winning in astrology." I laughed so hard I almost dropped my ribs. But the saga wasn't entirely over. The next week, A group of Karen's friends, all wearing large sun hats, flowing scarves, and shoes that looked like they were made from recycled yoga mats, showed up for a healing circle on our lawn, facing my property. They sat cross-legged with crystals in their palms, chanting things like, "Reclaim the green, reclaim the green." Greg whispered, "Is this a protest or a grass seance?" I let it go, because honestly, I'd already won. Legally, morally, spiritually, and horticulturally. And speaking of the lawn, my backyard looked amazing. I threw a victory over Karen party. I invited all my neighbors, the construction crew she tried to hire, my cousin Greg, obviously, and even the HOA president, who brought a Karen-free zone banner as a gift. We roasted marshmallows where a gazebo was supposed to go, played lawn games. Someone even printed energetic ownership on a piñata, and we all took turns smashing it. But the best part? I created a little section in the yard called Karen's Corner, just a sad little patch with terrible soil and a single wilting tomato plant named Karen. People took selfies with it. It's now a 5-star location on Google Maps. Tagline, "A cautionary tale in tomato form." And the TikTok? The one Greg used in court? It blew up. I gained like 80,000 followers. Apparently, people love petty justice and backyard dance moves. Comments were wild. This man moonwalked on enemy territory and won. Karen really tried to out-vibe legal documents' loudly crying face. The tomatoes are growing. Karen's aura is not. Even Karen's original construction crew left a comment. "Glad we didn't build that gazebo." Would have collapsed from bad energy anyway. Now, every time I mow my lawn, I do a little spin and wave at Karen's house. She closes her blinds faster than a cat on roller skates. Greg says we should make T-shirts. Front, "Don't mess with my grass." Back, "Greg will sue you." Might actually do it. So yeah, Karen thought she could manifest my land away. But turns out, the law doesn't care about your aura, Karen. It cares about deeds, documents, and 5 years of backyard dance videos. And maybe, just maybe, record your next lawn dance. It might just save your land your pride and go viral. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and keep your grass protected, folks.